I'm your host, Carolyn Solo, LCSW, EMDR therapist, and mom of 3 daughters. Thank you for joining me.
Hello, and welcome to episode 96 of the Future Template Parent Podcast. I am your host, Dr. Carolyn Solo, LCSW, PhD, EMDR consultant, and mom of 3 daughters. Thanks for joining me this week. It's been exciting to see in the past week lots of people finding the podcast and listening, lots of downloads. So, welcome to all of you. Today's topic is based on what I've seen in my coaching and consulting work, what I'm going to call the 3 traits that I see in the most successful EMDR intensive therapists. I will share them with you, and hopefully you'll get a little insight and inspiration. Trait number 1, a willingness to be uncomfortable. Trait number 2, excellent clinical skills and a desire to develop them. And trait number 3, an openness to feedback and constructive criticism. So let's go with trait number 1, a willingness to be uncomfortable. This is so important. And when I'm talking about getting uncomfortable, I mean it in a lot of different ways. For one, putting yourself out there, right? Getting uncomfortable by talking about your intensive offering to referral sources, to current clients, to new clients, making connections with people that you may feel intimidated by, whether it's other therapists, psychiatrists, other providers, medical providers. There's that sense of imposter syndrome, right? Like, who am I to be talking about this? Who am I to be offering this? Of course, there's always the fear of rejection, that people will just either ignore you when you reach out to them or actively say no to you. The fear of being different, maybe even being called out by other therapists, maybe by your grad school colleagues, maybe by clients, called out in the sense of, what is this intensive thing? Why are you offering this? This is not what I want. This is not what clients want. This is not what people can afford. Who do you think you are? All that. So all that can be uncomfortable, right? And that fear of being uncomfortable because of the rejection, the imposter syndrome, getting called out, can stop us from doing it. But those of us who decide that we can survive that discomfort and get to the other side of it are going to have that success, because you're going to have a lot more people who respond either neutrally or positively than you are going to have people who respond negatively. I mean, I think that most of us remember those negative responses really well, but it can be hard because then we don't remind ourselves of the positive responses we've got, which can, you know, debilitate us a little, because some of those rejections that we may have experienced can really sting, and so they stick with us. But you also have many people who say yes, who say sure, who say, that sounds great, I'm so interested. What an amazing, I know you're an amazing clinician. I think this is something clients would need. Whatever, you're going to get more of those than you're going to get the no's and the rejections, like, the outright rejections. Probably the most common response we get when we try to connect with other providers is no response, which can feel like rejection. But there's so many reasons why that could be the case. Number one being, we are all really busy. There are many emails in my inbox that I'm just going to be honest, don't get around to replying to in a timely way, and sometimes not at all, right? So that's not an out rejection. That's usually just it's not the top of my priority list, which is why I always recommend to people, if it's a referral source you really want to connect with, follow up a few times. Don't just write an email once, not hear a response, and give up. And that can be uncomfortable. That following up can be uncomfortable. But again, that is what the successful EMDR therapists do, because they know that sometimes people just need to have you stay top of mind for them. And then that's going to be the thing that makes the difference. And so it's being uncomfortable sending that second email, that third email, right? And also that fear of, like, being uncomfortable when you're, quote, selling yourself, right? Talking about your intensive offering. What really matters here is having a super solid elevator pitch for why you're offering intensives and exactly what your intensive offering looks like. And, just continuing to build up that tolerance for some of those things you're afraid of, like being rejected and being called out, right? This all can happen, and it's going to if you stay at this long enough. The other day, I got called a grifter on, a very large EMDR Facebook group that has a lot of people on it. I was offering a free resource and a very valuable resource, if I say so myself, my client workbook. Definitely get it if you don't have it already. I'll link it in the show notes. And it required people to give me their email address to access it. Does that mean I was putting them on my email list? Sure, right? That's what usually freebies are for. Could they immediately unsubscribe after getting the workbook? Sure. Does this make me a grifter? Not if you know how digital marketing works, but hey, I'm not going to argue with someone who says that to me, so I didn't. If they don't want to give me their email so I can give them the workbook, that's not on me. That's their decision, right? It always feels slightly uncomfortable when someone says something, unfair about me that I don't think is true. They don't know me at all. Why would they? It's not really about me. It's about other stuff they've experienced that they're projecting onto me, right? But whatever, it is what it is, right? You're going to have moments of feeling uncomfortable, especially when it comes to marketing and, of course, fee setting. Fee setting can be super uncomfortable. Talk about fearing being called out and imposter syndrome rearing its ugly head. And all of that is very real, okay? And the discomfort that comes up for many of us regarding the ethics of fee setting, right? A lot of us feel a discomfort around that. And those of you who have listened to the podcast for some time know that I promote and I teach the 6K 15-hour intensive. So I've obviously worked a lot myself on some of the discomfort around money mindset stuff, right? It doesn't mean I, don't just throw off the number and I'm like, whatever, like it's easy. No, I still have to work through it almost every time, but I still do it. I tolerate the discomfort knowing there's a benefit on the other side. If you want to hear me talk more about mindset stuff and fee setting, listen to episodes 3, 40, 48, and 93, in which I talk about, like in a lot of detail about money and fees. I talk about it a lot in a lot of episodes, but those are some that are really, really about that. 3, 40, 48, and 93. I'll link them in the show notes. And yeah, all this stuff is uncomfortable. It's hard. I also think getting uncomfortable means confronting the areas in which you may have some blind spots or growth edges clinically. And also dealing with the imposter syndrome of not feeling like you're a good enough clinician, right? And these are different issues, but often both of them happen to us, even though they can feel like opposites, right? We all have times where we want to believe we really know what we're doing because the alternative is too scary. And so maybe we're not pushing those growth edges enough, right? Where we're kind of getting a little complacent because it is easier and feels better, feels safer at that time. And then we have moments where we feel utterly terrified that we have no right to call ourselves EMDR therapists because we're worried we're too inexperienced, don't have the right skills and tools, there's so much else out there to learn, and so on, right? Confronting both of these things, that like I'm good, I know enough, I don't need to push myself, and I'm a disaster imposter of an EMDR therapist, it's uncomfortable confronting both of these, and you will become better when you do that. Okay. And one of the reasons I think my EMDR Intensive's 12-week group program is so successful for the participants is that I'm always pushing them to get uncomfortable, right? Because on the other side of discomfort is growth. And the discomfort happens in a safe and compassionate container of other EMDR therapists who are also working towards the same goals and who want you to succeed. The waitlist sale for the June cohort of the group is open April 30th to May 2nd. And only waitlist members get access to a huge, like really, really big sale price and some fantastic bonuses. And you have to be on the waitlist to get the codes for those. Link is in the show notes to sign up for the waitlist and get those details today, because today's the 30th and the sale runs through May 2nd. So that's one thing, being able to get uncomfortable. 2, excellent clinical skills and a desire to develop them. Another essential trait of outstanding and successful EMDR intensive therapists. you need stellar clinical skills to be a standout EMDR intensive therapist. But of course, you need to develop them. You're not going to have them. You're going to go through basic training. You're going to know some stuff. But like most of us who come out of basic training, we feel nervous, right? And you're probably not going to feel ready to jump into 15 hours of EMDR processing after basic training, like the next day. Clearly, practicing EMDR as much as possible is hugely important here. And it's one of the reasons that I push getting certified and beyond, like also becoming a consultant, because both of those require you to complete lots of hours of phase 4 processing with a large number of clients. So practice, practice, practice. Of course, that's going to help you. You're going to feel more comfortable with the protocol. You're going to be more aware of what kinds of things can happen. You're going to know how you respond, know how clients respond, right? Know how different presenting issues can look in a processing session. And for both getting certified and becoming a consultant, you're also required to complete at least 12 advanced EMDR credits, which of course also pushes you to continue to develop those clinical skills, right? So these are all reasons I do think that becoming certified and, if you want to, becoming a consultant are really, really important and really valuable and useful ways to continue pushing yourself to grow as an EMDR therapist. And something else that helps a ton when you're either becoming certified or becoming a consultant, you're going to be working with a consultant, right? You have to have consultation. One of the great things about my group program is that you're working with me, a consultant, and a group of other EMDR therapists who challenge you to try new things, conceptualize cases differently, and help you problem solve when you're stuck. And they also hold space, a la Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo holding space for the moments when you feel overwhelmed, the moments when you're having ethical concerns, when you just don't know what to do next, right? This work is hard, and we really need other knowledgeable and supportive clinicians in our corner with whom we can be real and vulnerable as we work to become our best EMDR therapist selves, right? You need that, like, I don't think it's an echo chamber. You need those diverse views and perspectives pushing you to grow as a clinician. In my group, there's eight incredible therapists who are starting intensives in their practice. So you'll be one of them, all striving to be fantastic clinicians, all striving to deliver transformational outcomes to their clients, because that's what intensives can provide. Of course, I'm leading the group as the consultant, sharing my perspective and experience. And don't forget, in the group, speaking of being an excellent clinician, the second half of the group is all about clinical skills. The first half, the first 6 weeks, the first 3 modules are really marketing, fee setting, mindset, practice structure, all that good stuff, which is so important. And we continue to work on it throughout the group. A lot of referrals and networking and all that stuff throughout. But the focus of the video modules, the kind of course content, switches to clinical skills that I teach you, all the skills that I use to create transformational intensives for clients, including, but not only, the recent traumatic episode protocol, preverbal trauma, tools for working with dissociation, the group traumatic episode protocol, IFS informed EMDR, ego states worst, the assist protocol, and more. The DNMS, which is developmental needs meeting strategy, all sorts of stuff that I have learned, I am teaching to you, right? Sort of my quick and dirty overview of how to use these skills, no 12-hour training required. And then you have me and your colleagues to ask the questions about how to best use these clinical resources. So being in this group is going to push you so much into becoming the clinician you want to be. And how does being an excellent clinician help you to be successful? Well, first of all, it's some of your best marketing, right? Sure, a referral source can meet you and get to know you, but if they refer someone to you for an intensive and that person doesn't have a great clinically transformative experience when they're paying you $6,000 and spending 15 hours, and it gets back to that referral source, they may never refer to you again, right? So obviously you want to be delivering an amazing intensive. And of course, one of the, I think, highest compliments we can get as a clinician, a client themselves refers you, like talks about you and their amazing experience with you to someone else who then becomes a client. I mean, that to me is honestly like, I just really treasure when that happens. It just means so much that this client found the experience so valuable that they want other people in their life, other people who matter to them, to benefit from what I offer. So obviously, being an excellent clinician and wanting to grow is something else that is an essential trait of a phenomenal and successful EMDR intensive therapist. And finally, the best and most successful EMDR intensive therapists I know are open to feedback and constructive criticism. They know that feedback and being pushed is not about tearing you down. It's not about making you feel bad. It's not even about saying that you're doing something wrong or incorrectly. It's about being better, learning to see things from a different point of view, getting more insight that can help you be better at what you do, right? It doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. Like, in fact, you're doing so much right when you're open to learning and growth, when you're not complacent, when you're not scared to get feedback from others, when you're not worried about how that's going to not just challenge you, but maybe like harm your ego, right? That you can handle that. And because you know it's, you know, the best thing for you as well as the best thing for your clients, right? And so you want that, you treasure it, you seek it out. And of course, the group provides that. You get constructive criticism and feedback and holding and support from me and from all the other therapists in the group. In the group cohort that I ran in September through November, there was a group member who really struggled with her own confidence about being able to offer intensives. And she was talking to another therapist at that about how she was starting to offer intensives. And this therapist said, "Oh, I'm interested in one." And the person in the group tried to give her someone else's name. And this person was like, "No, I'm interested in one with you." And the therapist in the group was struggling with her own confidence. And so she kept sort of trying to give this person who wanted to work with her someone else to work with. When this came back to us in group, we were all like, no, 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 you need to go back there and you need to tell the person, actually, I would love to work with you. Right. And the group was so supportive and caring and loving, but also pushed her and was like, hey, this is a really important learning moment for you to take a step back. What is the message that's coming out of this for you? Right. And she got that from the group. And I think that there was a part of her that knew that, you know, didn't feel good about the exchange. And that's why she brought it to the group. Um, but, you know, that's just an example of like feedback and sort of pushing and constructive criticism really helping someone be better and become more successful. Right. And that all happened because of the group container. So, like I said, the waitlist sale is today, April 30th through May 2nd. And then waitlist pricing ends. And we'll go back up to sort of the regular price for the group during the normal sale period in May. So don't miss out on this opportunity to get a very, very low price and some really awesome bonuses. If you're not on the wait list, click the link in the show notes to get on it and reach out to me on Instagram. I'm happy to answer any questions you have about it. Like I said, there's only 7 spots left. I hope you get one of them. All the hours in the group count towards certification or towards becoming an approved consultant. Yeah. So the traits of the three traits tongue twisters today, the three traits that I see of the most successful EMDR intensive therapists are: willingness to get uncomfortable, desire to be an excellent clinician and to keep working to become towards becoming better, and 3, an openness to feedback and constructive criticism. So I hope that was helpful for you today, and I look forward to talking to you all next week as we keep chugging along towards 100 episodes, which I can't believe we're going to make that. I didn't think I'd make it to 50 when I started. I thought, you know, if I get to 50 episodes of this podcast, I'll be so proud of myself. And here we are, chugging along towards 100, about to hit the 2-year anniversary of the podcast. So just another example of what, you know, putting your head down and just putting one foot in front of the other week after week can do. So in any case, please do reach out to me at Future Template Parent on Instagram if you have any questions about the group. And I'm happy to chat at any time. And again, it was really, really cool to see the podcast download numbers go way up this week, which means that a lot of people discovered the podcast for the first time. So welcome to all of you. I hope you continue to find it to be a valuable resource as you grow your practice and become that intensive therapist that you know you can be. Take care, everyone. Talk to you next week.